Let me show your asses this G.I. Joe custom team that I just built. Right here. This is my Toxo Viper. He's my big bruiser of the group. He's the muscle. He eats rocks. He shits bricks. He's a beefcake. This guy is made up of mole rat's upper body. Mole rat's top half is torso. Okay, I got snow serpent's legs on him. The head is 3D printed. The backpack is 3D printed. He's got shoulder guards on him, which are from Night Force Falcon. And his weapon is from Monster Force, as well as the cables connecting to the backpack. First thing I did with this guy was I dipped him, I Rit dyed him, Rit dye. So if anybody's not familiar with that, go look it up on YouTube. There's other customizers doing that sort of thing, and you can learn all about it. But basically, you take a pot of water, you put about enough water in it to cover the figure or pieces or parts or whatever you're doing. You dump a bottle of Rit dye in with it, and you put it on like real low heat. Just leave it for about an hour. Stir it every once in a while. The Rit dye that you want is called synthetic. It says synthetic on it, and it's kind of got like an argyle pattern on the label. So it's $5 a bottle at Walmart. You can get it. You know, it's not hard to find. Black works well. Some of the other colors I've experimented with and have not had good results. These are made up of a lot of different types of plastic. The elbows are different than the knees, are different than the shins and the feet and stuff. So sometimes certain things will dye well and others will not. But this is solid black. He came out real good. Anywhere that needed to be painted, I put a primer on first, and then I put a coat of white on, and then I put my color over that. Even so, the dye is still kind of soaked through here and there. You can see that yellow on his leg that's kind of turning brown. Some of the yellow, the black dye that's just baked into the parts now is seeping out, and it comes into the paint. His shoes are a little spotty too. The yellow and the fluorescent red on the shoes I painted many times, and it just keeps kind of coming through. So that is the downside. So keep that in mind when you're planning your paints. Maybe just triple up on the primer, or find a real strong primer or something. And then I used a silver paint marker to go around and do highlights. His head is 3D printed. He does not have a head underneath that. You can buy him with that, and he does come with another head inside of it. But I never wanted to take this off. I want the helmet on forever, so I just stuffed the whole helmet with this hardening clay and placed it right on top of that ball joint, and it all just solidified, and it's not going anywhere. I got water decals on him, like a nuclear waste symbol on one of his shoulder pads, and he's got the Cobra logo on the back of his head there too. Those are water slide decals. You can just look up water slide decals on eBay. And this team here that I've got to get going that I'm showing you here, the color scheme is going to be fluorescent red, and fluorescent green is going to be the costume, and then the actual toxic waste is fluorescent yellow. So that's what, if you see a couple different shades mixed in, that's why. The green is on the backpack and in the gun, and then the yellow is kind of dripping down his body there because he's all messed up. Okay, next up is the lab rat. The lab rat came in the Zombie Initiative set, some exclusive box set that came along back in the day. Mine is a little more punk rock with the spiked mohawk helmet there. He's got a clipboard in his hand. On the back of the clipboard is a little chunk of clay that I could have painted over. I kind of forgot about till now. It's mainly just so that it stays in his hand. It's kind of a little lump there so it blocks it from slipping through his hands. All right, he's got the body of scrap iron. His whole body is scrap iron. And then he has a lab coat that I bought on eBay, which I was very nervous about. I'm like, oh, this is going to be some stupid Barbie doll thing. But no, it's great. It fits good. It's got like little wires in it, bendy wires, so you can kind of position it a little bit. It's fantastic. I got that on eBay somewhere. Or maybe Etsy. I don't remember. Head is 3D printed. Clipboard is from eBay, and then I got these 3D printed barrels that come along with them too. And of course, has toxic waste kind of seeping out of there. There are water slide decals and regular decals on the barrels. So lab rats were a character that dealt with Compound Z, which is turns Cobra soldiers into zombies. So that's what they were doing back then. They were making their Cobra soldiers into zombies. And lab rats were the guys working in the lab, kind of handling the science of it all. Get ready, get in your lab, do your science. Here comes the lab rat. He's here. All right, this is the next member of my toxic clan here. This is just a custom character that I have created. I did not model him after any existing G.I. Joe. This is just going to be the skinny, crazy guy on the team who goes around shooting toxic sludge and doesn't wear shirts, and his face is all messed up, and he loves to eat toxic waste. So he's my guy. I named him Polluticorn.
Recyclops destroy!
Oh, it's the day of Recyclops Day?
Yes.
I thought you were killed by polluticorn.
Polluticorn wishes.
So his upper body is Quick Kick. That's Quick Kick. His lower body is Night Force Falcon. He's got the big boa spike harness. Of course, I dyed that black as well as dyeing the Night Force Falcon legs. He's got a 3D printed head. The head is Darth Sion from Star Wars. I don't know who he is. I was just kind of searching 3D printed heads, and I found this one, and I thought it was cool, so that's what I got. But he's a Star Wars character, apparently. His weapon is from Action Force. It's a flamethrower and the flame effect, but I painted it red, and I painted the flames into toxic waste. He's got a water slide decal on his abdomen of a toxic waste symbol. He's got a water slide decal of the Cobra symbol on his other shoulder. The backpack is from somebody in the G.I. Joe world, but I don't know. I don't care about backpacks. I just kind of throw them all in a case, so they're all mixed together. But the way that I had to glue down those spiked harness that he's wearing, I had to kind of chop it up in the back and stuff, and I needed something to cover up, the kind of mess that I left it as. So that backpack kind of covers up things. But yeah, it looks good on him, I think. His boots, I kind of did primer and then paint the kneecaps as well. I got the silver paint marker highlights all over his legs, his belt buckle, his belt loops, his shoelaces. He's got steel toe boots on that I made with the paint marker, and his armband's got some silver on it too, as well as the gun. Here's a close-up of him. You can see he eats toxic waste. It's all dripping down his stomach. So yeah, he's a sicko. He's a sickie. All right, there we go. That's him. Boom. This is Toxo Viper V2. This is another version, kind of based on this version, but I'm putting my own spin on it, of course. The head is the 3D print of a familiar character in G.I. Joe. It is the head of Wraith. I saw it. I liked it. I bought it. He's got a 3D printed vest as well. His whole body is wolf spider. And I painted the knee pads. I painted the wrists. The hands are bat hands, just for lack of needing some black gloved hands and only having so many options that will work on this. He's got a water slide decal on his back there. He's got a water slide decal on his head. The weapon is from Action Force. Cobra logo on his chest is built right into the 3D print. Yeah, and then I went around with the silver paint marker, and I, kind of did all these highlights that you see. He's got them all over his abdomen, and they're just all over him, really. Anything that's kind of lighten up is probably silver paint marker. Painted his gun, and both guns. This is Toxo Viper V2. And this is also Toxo Viper V2. This one has been infected. So this is Toxo Zombie. So I got Toxo Viper before and after kind of thing here. So Toxo Viper, Toxo Zombie. Let's see, he's got water decal or water slide decals on him as well. He's very similar to the other one. His legs are different. Upper is wolf spider and his lower is retro beachhead. So they both have upper of wolf spider, but lower of the retro beachhead on the Toxo zombie. And then everything else is the same. We got the 3D printed vest. He has a nuclear waste toxic symbol on his chest because he is marked now. You know, he's infected. He's a Toxo zombie. And so, yeah, those guys are kind of my my little toxic duo there, the toxic twins there, the gruesome twosome, if you will. And let's get a good look at him too. So he, you know, he's got the wraith head as well, but he has been, but his head's more busted up, and the zombie inside is coming out. Here, the water slide decal changed again because of the dye, like I mentioned earlier. That black dye works well, but it does seep into paint and stickers and decals. So, you know, kind of just keep that in mind if you're doing a custom figure. And he's got a cobra decal on top of his head. All right, and the last on the list is the leader of the group, the toxic Cobra Commander. He looks awesome. He's not based on any real version of Cobra Commander. There's no toxic waste version of Cobra Commander. So this is my own invention here. It's my own creation. The head is 3D printed. The head is based on the Cobra Commander of the live action movies. So that's his head, if you recognize that. He's got a 3D printed vest. The vest was meant for cesspool, actually. So it's already got the symbol kind of built into it. They didn't make cesspool because I think someday they will make cesspool. All these characters, I don't think that they're going to actually make. Maybe a Toxo Viper, but I don't know. Come on. All right. Yeah, same deal here. He's got the silver paint for accents. He's got, weapons painted, hands painted. His upper body is from his team Range Viper. He's got 3D printed shoulder pads. I bought online. The backpack is from, I think they're from a Steel Core, guys. That is dyed black, though. And as you can see, the silver paint has kind of turned to more of a copper because of the black seeping in, but that's all right. I think he looks fantastic. He's got the lower legs of Snake Eyes, I don't know. The one Snake Eyes that comes with like brown pants. He's the only one that's not wearing all black. That's where his legs are from. His weapons are from G.I. Joe, from other G.I. Joe characters. I don't know who. I don't care. This was the first one that I did, and I liked it so much that I had to build out a whole team. So here we go. Now I will show you the entire team all together. But that is Toxic Cobra Commander. Here's my team. They're ready to go destroy the planet, ruin the ecosystem, pollute major bodies of water, what have you. Making customs was pretty fun. If I make any more customs, I think I'll choose characters that I do not think will be done in classified. I did try making a cutter. I started making a cutter. I'll show them right here. A cutter he's a regular guy, so like his face needs to look human and flesh tone and hair and stuff, and it's different than like a big crazy mask or some monster that his face is all melted. So I was not as good at doing something like that. Once I got to the eyes, I realized that I just can't do this. I don't have the tools for it. I have these magnifying glasses that I was using to like get in super tight on real tiny details, and I just couldn't do it. I don't know. The glasses were cool, but they really mess with like your depth perception. So you're just really thrown off by it. So if I try it again, I don't know. Maybe I'll get like a magnifying glass mounted that I can kind of just look underneath it or something that's just makes a little more sense and is easier to use. Customs were a lot easier when working with O-rings, like when I was a kid, because we made customs as kids too. But, they were all the same size, and the pieces and parts, you unscrew that screw in the back. And then if you want to take it even deeper, you can unscrew the inner thighs. And the whole thing would just fall apart, and you can mix and match parts pretty freely. I mean, once in a while you'd come up with a combo that kind of didn't work, but most of the times every arm, it worked on somebody else. Every head, you just take it out and put it in, and it was fine, and it worked out great. Classified is, better for a lot of reasons because they're a much more complex action figure, but the ball joints on the head just being like 6 or 7 different sizes is frustrating. So I ended up learning right away. I just got to go with 3D printed stuff, and I'm just going to glue it to the neck basically, and I'm not going to be able to have it move around, but that's okay. At least I'll get the head that I want. And let me share something interesting with you too. For like when we were kids, I don't know how I learned this. I think another kid at school taught me this, but if you took apart if you took out the screw that was in their inner thigh on the O-ring version of GI Joes, so that and then the thigh was like 2 pieces, and it's split open now because it's not screwed together anymore. So if you just took those 2 sections and that's it on the whole body, if you put it in a nail polish remover and just let it soak like overnight, the next day you pull it out and it was like this gummy Play-Doh stuff. And we tried it with other body parts and stuff, and it only worked with that. Like I said earlier, these things are all different types of plastics and stuff, and they were like that then too. So I mean, something about that thigh meat, when you melt, you can melt it down in nail polish remover, and then turn it into like this Play-Doh, and then you sculpt it, and then you let it dry out, and it would just harden rock solid again. I made a character once as a kid. I took Roadblock, and let's see, I just put some like tape over his eyes, so he kind of had like a visor, Cyclops sunglasses kind of looking thing. I found some stuffed animal or something where I cut like a strip of fur and glued it to his head and made a mohawk. And then I cut off his hands, and I used that putty shit that I was just talking about to like make balls on his hands, and I stuffed like little chains into the gum. And then on the other end of the chain was like little size from Jinx or somebody. And so he was a guy with no hands, but he had chains with daggers hanging on the end of them, and I named him Dagger, and he was a dreadnought. And that putty you could use for other stuff too. Like you could make mohawks with it. This is kind of an example of what it would come out like. You could take this clay and mold a mohawk out of it, and then it would just dry, and then you could paint it or something. This is actually just a clay because I don't have any old O-ring figures really. But yeah, you could make stuff out of them. You can make mohawks, or you can rip off their hand and put a big ball on their hand and stick like nails in it, or little tacks or something, so they got this big spike ball on their hand. We made weird stuff out of them. And then I also made a character. That dagger I showed you before was kind of like a reproduction. I just did it with Photoshop. I don't have the original one, if you can't tell from the image. Here's another one. After seeing Globulus and stuff, and I was obsessed with Globulus, I took apart a guy, or a bunch of guys actually, the waist section, like the pelvic piece. We would call it underwear when we were kids. I don't know. Hey, I want to use his underwear for him, and give me his. So like I took like 15 sets of underwear, ran a string through it, and tied something at the end of it for the tail. Here you can see now. And then I had a torso from somebody, and I mounted like a gun for the head, and he was called the Machine, and he was just my custom guy. He was weird. He's made out of pelvic pieces, but I don't know. That's just fun stuff you could do when you're a kid. All right, guys. Thanks again for watching. Thanks as always. Appreciate the subscriptions, the comments, the likes, whatever you want to do. It all helps. I guess it helps. I don't know. I mean, I'm not making money off this or nothing. It's cool to like see comments and write back to you, but there's not really any benefit for this for me. I'm just doing it for fun. All right, though. Well, hey, thanks for watching. And G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe.